Hello everyone, my name is Madhuri Seth. I'm a journalist and recent graduate from Ithaca College's Roy H. Park School of Communications. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with an exceptional guest, Dr. Gehan Dhameeth, a distinguished business professor who has achieved an extraordinary feat by holding not one, but two terminal degrees. Dr. Dhameeth has made a significant impact in the field of education and research and earned respect and admiration from students and colleagues. Throughout his career, Dr. Dhameeth has displayed a deep understanding of the complexities of business and excelled in sharing the knowledge that he has gained with others through teaching and mentorship. Today, we will be unraveling the story behind Dr. Dhameeth's remarkable achievements and uncovering the secrets to his success and the challenges that he has overcome. Without further ado, Dr. Dhameeth. So, Dr. Dhameeth, the first question that I have for you is, what is your research philosophy and how does it manifest in your publications and beyond?
Well, research philosophy actually, there are different types of research philosophies where different scholars use different approach to interpret what the world is. A couple of them that come to my mind would be the positivist, pragmatist, and interpretivist. Essentially, my approach is the positivism, where we depend more on empirical aspect of the research. We collect data and then we model and then testing models and then interpreting certain phenomenon and how they work when it comes to interactions of the variables.
Thank you. Can you tell me more about your research interests, particularly in the areas of consumer behavior, marketing analytics, and organizational strategy?
Yeah, different scholars have their own scholarly sweet spots. So it comes based on where they come from. When I say where they come from, it could be their continuous research investment, and the other angle would be their corporate experience. Excuse me, corporate experience that they come with. So based on these two domains where I come from, I would like to focus more on how consumers behave. My most current study that I'm collaborating on a scholarly paper, research paper, is on customer satisfaction measurement modeling based on the online customer reviews. So that's one area, consumer behavior, more specifically customer satisfaction. That's where my entire scholarly investment in. Apart from that, the other two areas, marketing analytics, is also an interest area because that helps us to do modeling part of it, budget optimizations, so on and so forth. And then also I thought it was interesting for me to learn more about how these two sides, if we were to conceptualize a company to be in the center, internally, how employees would change their behavior when the overall corporate strategies changed. And at the same time, due to that same strategy change, how externally the consumers also will change their behavior. Say, for example, throwing out a new product, consumers change and employees also will have to change the way how they think, apply, so on and so forth. So that's why I thought these three areas to be interesting for me.
Thank you. And beyond what you just talked about, what are some innovative teaching techniques that you use?
Well, it is once again related to the student learning or student-centered teaching approach. One example that I would like to refer to here that I use in my classes, more specifically marketing class, where I use the case method teaching. This case method teaching has three stages. First is the analysis part, and then the goal and the strategy part, and the last stage is the implementation part. So after in-class discussion about the case analysis part, I give the space for students to walk around the campus while they are in their own groups walking together around the campus. They have to develop their own strategy. So I can see that very clearly before and after the effect. If I measure that one, after using this innovative technique, the students' creativity has gone up, has increased a lot, tremendously. So I use that as one of the innovative techniques when I teach in my classes.
Having held various positions at different schools over the years, how has your teaching philosophy evolved?
Well, first of all, my philosophy about teaching is that learning should be accessible to all individuals in this world, regardless of their socio cultural, ethnical background. So, what I do in order to take this knowledge to each and every individual in the classroom, I use a more of a student-centered teaching approach. How do I do that? I use a specific model which is unique to me, which I call it 10-3-10. Interesting model. In every class, I use 10 minutes of my time to do a lecture, and then 3 minutes of interaction, and then another 10 minutes of reflection. By doing that, I think I'm helping everyone to gain the expected knowledge as the objective of the class to work out with. So that's my teaching philosophy.
Right. And beyond what you just talked about, what are some innovative teaching techniques that you use?
Well, it is once again related to the student learning or student-centered teaching approach. One example that I would like to refer to here that I use in my classes, more specifically marketing class, where I use the case method teaching. This case method teaching has 3 stages. First is the analysis part, and then the goal and the strategy part, and the last stage is the implementation part. Now, in my class, the innovative technique that I use is, inside the class we complete the first phase, analysis. But at the stage of goal setting and strategizing, I let the students walk around the campus in their own groups, not more than 4. They walk around and then they come back with their strategy. The reason for that is there are many studies that have identified that when the motion is associated with the learning process, students learn more very effectively. So that's one innovative technique that I use in my marketing class when I do case method approach.
Thank you. How have you engaged with the scholarly community throughout your 20-year tenure in academia?
Well, there's one person that I have to bring and mention the name, that is Dr. Depo. He's the one who actually opened the doors for me to explore the world of scholarships. So after his introduction, I have been publishing, researching and publishing, and there came a point when we submit our research papers for peer review, the journal reviewers, they suggest us, knowing that we have reached a certain level to contribute to the scholarly community, requesting us if we could join their review team. And thereby, after that, you work as a reviewer. Now, currently, I am, there are about 10 journals that I'm working with. The topmost highly recognized 2 journals that I'm working as a reviewer include Journal of Brand Management and Journal of Data Science. They are highly prestigious journals. So now it's time for me to give back and guide those who are following us to do very high quality scholarly work. Yeah.
Right. And so, talking about scholarly work, you have 2 master's degrees and 2 doctorates, which is the case for less than 1% of the world population. How do you interpret your education in real life?
Well, the real life is nested on three big silos, I would say. First is myself individually, personally, and then my students where the career is concerned, my job is concerned, and the third one is the community. Now, if you look at myself, with this educational background, it had helped me to invest more time in reflecting on my own research thought, analyzing certain things, taking time to understand the dynamics, so on and so forth. If you, excuse me, if you look at the other silo, which is the student aspect, relative to another professor, I am walking into a class with a broader array of, I would say, armory, a repertoire of all the ammunitions to facilitate a very good learning experience for my students to acquire from my classes. The last silo, which is the community, the more I learn, I can very freely and productively give back to the community. So there's an exchange process where I learn from the society, technical learning, and then we give it back to the community. So that's how I see this education background has helped me in my life.
What was your experience at Harvard Business School like?
Well, I went to Harvard to get myself trained for case method teaching. So during my entire tenure there, we were taught how to teach case method teaching method. So starting from the entire life cycle of case method teaching. In addition to that, I also was able to learn from that great school how to manage a class, the space, the resources that we have, power dynamics, so on and so forth, how to do a class plan, rather case plan, so on and so forth. It's, I would say, 80% of my investment, quality investment in teaching experience is due to my learnings from Harvard. I also have to share with you that if you look at my course evaluations, 9 out of 10 students, they say Professor G's case teaching is the best thing that we ever enjoyed in this class campaign. So it is reflected in the course evaluations as well. It was a superb learning. I enjoyed that experience.
I can only imagine. So how do you complement your teaching with your corporate experience?
Well, I started working for Nestlé's, a Swiss company, multinational company, as a sales representative, and then move on to product management, another multinational company, Clipsal Australia, and then TVS India, motorbike, and then from product management to marketing management, and then finally one of the holding companies in Hong Kong as the group director marketing for a conglomeration. So how I bring this to class, today students do not like to learn about the theory. So when I bring the corporate experience, what kind of experience? Maybe introducing a new product, maybe something went wrong because of the advertising campaign, wrong message, we had a failure. So when you bring that experience, students enjoy that. So what I'm using a more of a practice approach where the theory and the practice are both combined to give the superior learning experience for my students. In addition to that, when a student walks into a class to learn something, it is the professor's duty I believe, to mold that student, not only to learn the business related knowledge, but also to behave in the corporate world. So, time management, uh, presentation skills, people skills are also something that I bring from my corporate experience to share with my students to give the overall product for them to work out with.
Wow. What administrative positions have you held thus far, and how have they influenced your overall career performance?
Well, currently I am the chair for two departments. One is the data analytics department, the other is the business department. For the business department, I have given the leadership for about 5 years in the past. Uh, Again, this became my second term in my tenure at Wells College. But for the data analytics major, this is the first time ever we have a chair. Uh, that's also because of my qualification, which is my second terminal degree, is in data science. The college administration decided that I'm the right person to lead this department as well. Other than that, I also have been a member in different other committees, student advising committee, presidential committee, strategic planning committee, uh, IRB, internal review board, so on and so forth. I think they are very essential to me in order to perform my overall job in this college, because it's not only teaching, but you need to also have some administrative aspect, which is the community service aspect. So I think they have been in a good blend for me to perform well overall at Wells College.
Thank you. And finally, what advice do you have for business students today?
Very interesting question. First thing that we need to understand is that the whole world is changing. So whether you're a business student or any other, you have to be able to embrace this change, especially for business students compared to my time of their, undergrad level year, I would say. No more qualitative driven classes. It is imperative that you take at least data driven classes, because that's the current world that we are dealing with. So, data driven decision making, especially for business students, is very, very critical today. So, my advice is take at least a couple of classes and get oriented to see the future after your graduation. In addition to that, like I was explaining, time management, people skills, presentation skills, these are some of the things that you need to consider, other than which is going beyond your regular business classes.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Dhameeth. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much for your time.